Sheri Simson's goal is to raise the fitness level of North America by starting a walking revolution. She, like many, once believed that she could never get overweight and out of shape until it happened to her. She'll share her story about how she discovered the European fitness secret of pole walking and how she has turned that into a business, Keenfit, that she's been running for over 13 years. Welcome to the show, Sheri.
Nice to be here.
Now, is it true that you were the first woman on the cover of Builder Architect?
Yes.
While you were 9 months pregnant?
Yes.
There's got to be a story there.
There is a story there. Yes, I have 3 years of architecture, and originally, though, I started with just sort of more design business, and I got a little tired of the money I was making and a little frustrated with the way things were turning out on site. So I decided to start my own construction company and became the builder. So I buy the material, I design it, and go take it right to the end. And I get this phone call. I've been doing that for almost 17 years. And I get this call that says, we've been following your career and we'd like to put you on the cover of Builder Architect. And
wow.
Yeah, and they hadn't had a female on the cover for over 15 years. So I was the first female. So he arrives, we're at Starbucks, and he hadn't met me yet. We were having the interview and he goes, oh my goodness, you're pregnant. And I said, yep, I'm in the building business, you know. So building a baby, and yeah, it was something else. I was pretty proud of that.
So they did it?
Yeah, we did it. And I was actually teasing, because remember the naked Demi Moore Vanity Fair cover?
Yeah.
I said to him after the interview, because we were going to meet at a big job I was doing up at a mill. It was a big $2.5 million renovation I was doing. And I said, look, I've arranged for no one to be around. The heaters are on. And I thought I'd do the naked Demi Moore. I'd wear a work belt, okay? Have my hands here, hard hat, okay? And he looks at his eyes are like this, and he's like, and I said, see you tomorrow, bye. I don't think he slept. And the only thing I'm upset about is I didn't do it. It's just a very ordinary picture of me standing there, and you can't even tell I was pregnant. But anyway.
Well, so you're coming into this business after having a whole other very successful career. Yeah. Sheri, we want to hear about this new business, which started with you not wanting to take any naked pictures of yourself at that point.
Actually, that is a lot to do with it. I always swore I would never be one of those women that would get out of shape and overweight. As a matter of fact, I was quite appalled by those people. I thought, oh, that's just, oh, come on. I will never let that happen, because I was always quite fit as a youth. But it ended up, once I got pregnant with my first, I put on 40 to 50 pounds. And I lost a bit, but I kept 10. Then the next child kind of kept 10. And the next one kept 10. But anyway.
And you have 16 children. So,
well, yeah. Well, I have 3. So yeah, I ended up being actually about a good 50 pounds overweight consistently I struggled with it for almost 10 years.
Wow.
I was out walking and going to the gym and doing different things as much as I could, but I don't know, it wasn't working. It wasn't. So what happened is we were flying over to Denmark. My husband's Danish. And in the seat pocket in front of me, I read this article about the cross-country ski Olympic coaches of the cross-country ski teams, the Olympic coaches. They'd send their athletes out in the off-season, and they had them biking, running, swimming, and weight training. But regardless of how much of all those activities they had them doing, they would always enter the season in less shape than they left. And the coaches were kind of going, this isn't working. We're going to have to follow the snow to keep our athletes fit. Have you ever cross-country skied?
No, thankfully.
It is tough, and I don't know if you've ever watched them, but
skating,
it's phenomenal.
though, like I would equate it to playing hockey.
Yeah, but skating still, going back to the cross-country skiers. So what happened is they thought the snow was what was keeping them fit, but it wasn't. It was the total body motion that they go through.
Right.
And I don't know if you realize this, but in stamina, endurance, flexibility, strength, and cardio, no other athlete actually ranks as high as a cross-country skier when they're doing their sport, because they are incorporating their entire body. So it wasn't until the cross-country ski coaches said, let's take these poles and we'll take them to dry land. And they had them hiking, walking, and running with the poles. So I read this article and I'm kind of like, well, that sounds kind of interesting, because I was walking and I've never really have been a gym person, shall we say. You know, 2 more of the weights wasn't my thing. And so, yeah, 3 days later, isn't it interesting how you've never heard of something and then suddenly it kind of shows up in your life? Well, 3 days later, my mother-in-law got a pair of poles for Christmas. And I'm like, those are those poles I just read about them.
So hold on, these are ski poles, essentially.
Kind of. They're a little bit more to it than that. The poles that I've designed for my business they're adjustable because height is really key. You don't want a pole too tall. You don't want it too low. And you can buy some ski poles, but now you got the hacksaw out, right? And you got to saw them down. Well, that's not going to work for a lot of people, right? So they're adjustable, so you can get them at the right height. And they come with different kinds of feet also, so that you can be on hard surfaces, road, asphalt pavement, those things. You can be on more looser, less compact terrain. You've got a spike for ice, or you can take these beach baskets and do the sand. Like, that's a really good workout.
Oh, wow.
Right? So yeah, the poles, they started out looking as just ski poles, but they're also designed in the hand strap for comfort and relaxing the grip of your hand, so you're not wearing out but it does incorporate your whole body. So
this makes you an inventor, because you invented
I didn't invent definitely Nordic walking, but what I did was, when I first got passionate about the whole idea, thinking what happens is, I have to say, I brought my mother-in-law's poles home. I lost 30 pounds in 6 months, and then I lost another 50 6 months after that.
Now, hold on now. I've watched a lot of quote-unquote infomercials about weight loss.
Everybody says stuff like that, right?
I am told that you cannot, like, you're talking 50 pounds, okay? You can't get rid of 50 pounds of weight with just an exercise regime. You must have changed your eating.
Interesting. I never dieted, but I definitely was quantity and quality control eating, okay? But I will swear to you, there was no dieting.
No big change in eating?
No.
Of course, but the workout changes your metabolism, and all of a sudden you're processing your food
When
better.
we just regular walking, okay? No matter how much you swing your arms, no matter how fast you go, or no matter how far you go, I don't care about that. You still use less than 50% of your muscles. Less than 50%, because there's no resistance as air as you're swinging your arms. That's why we go to the gym, we use weights and bands, because we want resistance to build muscle. And muscle, you see, when you build muscle, burns fat, okay? So you need to do that. With the poles, every time you plant, you're in resistance of your own body weight as it transfers down the pole into the ground as you push off and propel yourself forward.
So how did that turn into a business?
Well, you look different 30 to 50 pounds lighter. And because I've lived in the community where I'm from for many, many years, people look at me and go, yo girl, what did you do? And I'm not so bright, actually, because after the 50th to 80th person, I think it was about 80 actually, said, pole what? Pole what? Because remember, this was over 14 years ago when I was doing this, before you ever saw anybody walking the streets with ski poles or walking poles.
I have to admit, when I heard about this, I thought it was pole dancing.
I know.
And you hear that all the time.
I'm the two pole dancing lady, not the single pole dancing lady, is what I want to clarify with people. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to tell people about it, because we're in the worst shape we've ever been in. Would you not agree?
Yeah.
Epidemic proportions right now with cancer, diabetes, stroke, heart disease, they're all at an all-time high. And yet at the top of the list to help change all that, aside from eating, is what?
Exercise.
Yeah. And walking is one of the easiest forms of exercise we can pretty much all do. But a lot of people, don't have a lot of respect for it. But when you put poles in your hand, it just amplifies. So
let's say I'm watching this and I buy into it and I go, yeah, okay, sounds good, I'll try it. Do I have to learn how to do it?
Well, you do. It is as simple as walking, but all our videos are free online. We have a website that completely educates. It breaks it all down into how high would you set your poles, what feet would you put on your poles, how do you put the straps on, how do you hold them, how do you walk with them. It is all there.
So you gave up the construction business entirely?
Yeah, there was an overlap.
So there's some kids in between, some having kids in there.
Yeah.
And so you're not having any fun at all, I can tell.
I love what I do.
So when you say, what do? You redesigned or created your own design?
For my walking
Are you
poles,
manufacturing them?
Yes, and I manufacture them.
And you're marketing them?
Yeah, and I have videos.
And distributing them and selling them.
Plus I have certified instructors across Canada and the United States that I do have a certification program.
Wow.
And yeah, and I speak. I love to speak, and like I said, my goal is to raise the fitness level of North America, and I want to do it by creating a walking revolution.
So what's the where have you gotten to with this, and where are you headed?
Well, I just shipped 650 pairs of poles a week ago to the States for a catalog company, and another 400 to Japan the week before that. Wow. So their poles are all over the world, which is very exciting. I think I want to just keep myself mainly in North America, but I'm not going to say no if you want them somewhere else. It's just about education, raising education, motivation, inspiring people to become more active.
So the poles are amazing.
Yeah.
And the business, Keenfit, is actually a lot more than just making the poles and selling.
Oh, it's huge. I truly emotionally am touched. Every week I almost cry, actually, because someone has thanked me for changing their lives. From losing weight to lowering insulin levels to and blood sugar levels to lightening their load. You're actually 26% lighter when you walk with poles. So anybody with back, hip, knee, ankle, or feet challenges, it makes a huge difference.
Right.
I have people in tears actually about that. I could never walk before and now I can.
So someone that is obese, especially, that it's just tough to get started. The poles become an easy way to get going.
Well, they do for those, but I mean, you can just have a bad hip or bad knees.
Right.
And every time you take a step, you can do the math, but take 26% of your weight off of your back, your hips, your knees, and ankles and feet. Suddenly, it's just a lot easier to do. So I lost my weight, and because it did look so different, people were saying, what did you do? And after I discovered that they didn't even know what pole walking was, I went, well, wait a second. They don't even know what pole walking is or Nordic walking is. I can't just let this go. This changed my life in such a way that I have to move on. But to be honest with you, it almost died at that. Because I looked and looked and looked for a pair of poles I liked. The poles my mother-in-law had given me were an Italian trekking pole, which is like a ski pole handle with a ski pole strap. I was getting blisters and calluses and sweating crazily on the handle, and my slightly arthritic hands at that time, and they were really flaring up, and they weren't very comfortable. They were also really noisy, and they'd start shortening on each other. And I started looking around. I bought from Germany, England, the United States, I bought probably 5 different poles. And each of them, there was either too expensive, I couldn't afford to bring in large supply to resale to people, or I didn't like them. They weren't comfortable. There was something not right about them. So I went, it was actually my husband who said, why don't you make a pole you like? Take all the pieces that are important to you to make a good pole. And I said, can we do that? And we did. He actually, we found a manufacturer, and we worked on it. And I'd say it's been 13.5 years, the first few years, we did go through a few different factories that either I wasn't pleased with or they felt I was too picky to work with. But when you have your name on something, and I don't want to be dealing in returns, I have a less than 0.3% return rate.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lifetime warranty on my product.
You're obviously having fun. You're making a big difference in people's lives. 13 years in, you've written a book.
Yes. Because, you know why? I talk to people and get them pretty excited. I'm a little bit of a motivator, I am, and people want what I have. I want whatever she's having. So but I realized that I'd run into the person shortly after, and they'd be throwing, I'm not walking, or I'm not doing this, and they'd all have all these excuses. And so I've coined the word exercuses. So
exercuses.
Yes.
Got it.
Exercise excuses, and I call it exercuse. I've actually coined and trademarked the word. And my book is called Stop the Exercuses, Win at the Exercise Excuse Game.
Cool.
And what's your excuse?
I don't want to get into that right now.
Everybody has them. And one of my main chapters in the book is called The Irony of the Excuse. Okay?
Exactly.
And what that is the first one I always hear from people is, I'm just way too busy. If you were as busy as me, you couldn't do it either. I just don't have the time. Too busy. The next one is, I'm so tired. Oh gosh, I can barely get up and move around. I'm so tired. I just don't have any energy. I'll do it when I have more energy. The next one is, I'm so stressed. If I do anything else, I'll either explode or implode. And then the next one on top of that is, I hurt somewhere, which is very common. Someone hurts. So the irony of the excuse is, well, if you hurt somewhere and there's something wrong with you, I don't know a doctor today that says, don't move.
Right.
Sit down, lay down, don't move. You'll be better in no time. And if he does tell you that, you better get a new doctor.
Get a new doctor, yeah.
And then the next one about stress, it's a scientific fact they've proven We handle stress better when we exercise. And then tired. How do you feel after you exercise?
Great. Invigorated.
Exactly. Yeah. More people say I have more energy. If anything, they say, why don't I do this more often?
So how does it create more time for me? I'm interested in this one.
Well, wait, this is my last one. So if you're not hurting, you're handling stress better, okay, you have more energy. What do you have more of?
Time.
You have more time.
I wish we had more time.
I know.
We might have to get you back on Biz One-on-One once that book comes out.
I'll share a lot more.
Thank you so much, Sheri. Great having you on the show.